All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we've got the green cards to go over for OP-09. Okay, let me tell you exactly what we're getting into so we can get straight into it. We're going to be checking out all the green cards from OP-09 first. We'll do one game on the sim, and we'll wrap it up, and that way I'll show you the deck list I'm running just for a little bit of fun at the end. But today's entire video is going to be based around going over and reviewing and me kind of grading what I think these cards are going to be for the green cards in OP-09. I've already done the red cards. Tomorrow we're doing the blue cards. And I've already done the leaders as well, guys. I'll have all that linked down in the comment section, and I'll have everything relevant linked down there. And I'll have everything time-stamped for the general description. All right, guys, let's just get straight into it. No reason to beat around the bush here. Let's just get straight into this. I did go over the leaders very, very like meticulously, or however you say that. Like I went into depth, into detail on what I think about the leaders, but we are going to read Lim real quick just to kind of get an idea to refresh our memory, because it is very relevant for a lot of the cards in the green card pool for OP-09. Okay, so Lim, this is the first one up here. 4 life, 5,000 power. It's a green-purple leader, okay? Odyssey type, your character cards are played rested. Excuse me, guys. That is very, very relevant. Your character cards are played rested. You're going to see a very common theme for that in today's video going over the green cards. Activate main. Once per turn, you may rest 3 of your Dawn cards and add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. And then you can play up to 1 Odyssey type character card with the cost of 5 or less from your hand. Okay. Nothing too crazy there. Like I said, I did go over this already. I'll link that in the comment section below if you want to know exactly what I have to say about Lim. But that effect at the very top here, you know, this is very important for some of the interactions we're going to see today. And cheating out a 5-cost character for 3 Dawn, that's nothing to overlook. Okay, now let's go ahead and dive into the cards. There's the alt art. Looks incredible. All right, first up, very nice. Starting off pretty strong here. We got Adio. He is a 9-cost, 9,000 power green Odyssey type character with an on-play effect of if your leader has the Odyssey type, set up to 3 of your Dawn cards as active. Okay, guys, so if you have a 9 or 10 Dawn turn, this guy comes down kind of like he's for 6 Dawn. Now, you can't just play him if you only have 6 Dawn, right? You have to have 9 Dawn in order to rest to play this character, and then when he comes into play, he will give you 3 active Dawn. Not bad. This is, that first effect is very good. Let's read the second effect. On your opponent's attack once per turn, you may rest 1 of your Dawn cards, and up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. So that's nice. A little bit of protection for your leader or for one of your characters. You just have to have a Dawn active so you can do this effect. But hey, when you play this card, you should be ready to go. Really good stuff here. Now, speaking of that, I really wish it allowed us to have this Dawn that comes into play active, because it would make a lot of sense with like an effect like what Adio does here. Because with green and purple, what you'll probably be able to do at the end of the turn, like at the end of every excuse me, guys, my throat. At the end of like a 10 Dawn turn, if you have this card already on the field, like there would be an interaction where it's like, okay, maybe I'll use Queen right here for 8 Dawn. Or for 5 Dawn, excuse me, and then I will rest 3 Dawn. Okay, hang on, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Because of effects like this, I do wish that this effect here allowed for a Dawn to come back into play active. Because hear me out, what you'd be able to do then, with like, let's just say it is like a 10 Dawn turn and you already have 80 on the board. Okay, what you would be able to do is play out something like Queen to return 1 of your Dawn. So you've used up 5 Dawn, you returned a Dawn, and now you draw 2 trash 1, okay? Then, if you use the leader effect, tapping 3 more to cheat out an 8-cost character, or excuse me, a 5-cost character, you would then be able to bring that Dawn back into play active. But instead, they chose not to do that. Maybe they thought that would be too strong. It is what it is. But I just think that I would have such a higher rating of this card if it had the ability to bring that card, the Dawn card into play active. But who knows, maybe they determined that would be too strong, and then this card would have even more mileage. It'd have even more value to it. But as is, this is still a very solid card. I would rate this card right here. I mean, just for 1 Dawn, you're going plus 2,000. You're saving a card from your hand. This is at least like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I think it's a solid card. I don't think it's broken or anything like that. You can't cheat it out with the leader effect. But you can ramp to it very quickly with the leader effect, and that is relevant. Right, so let's just say if you go first, you'll go 1 Dawn, 3 Dawn, use the leader effect to ramp to 4. So on turn 3, you'll go to 6 Dawn, use the leader effect to ramp to 7, and then on your what would be your 1, 3, 5, what would have been like your 7 Dawn turn is now your 9 Dawn turn. So that could potentially be very powerful, and you could play this card out immediately and go about things from there, and now you have a 9k body on the board, and you'll have the ability for the rest of the, for the rest of the time you have this character on your opponent's attack once per turn to rest of Dawn to do plus 2,000. So I think it's a solid card, especially in this deck. I'll give it an easy 8 out of 10. Easy 8.5 out of 10 if I'm being generous. But I think at least an 8 out of 10, just to be completely real, or to be completely fair. This is the alt art. Looks pretty cool. Kind of a weird alt art, to be honest. Like, these colors are really soft. I feel like it should be more vibrant, but it's not. But it still looks really good. Like this one, I like this one a lot better, actually. Okay, good stuff. Okay, next up we have Usopp. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, Odyssey, Straw Hat Crew type. The effect is on play if you have 2 or more rested characters, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. Now remember, in Lim, this card will enter play rested. So if you have a character already in play rested, maybe like a 2 or a 3 cost character or a 1 cost character already in play rested, and then you play this card out, okay, seems good. We can draw 2, trash 2. It's a 4 cost 5k with a 1k counter, and you can cheat this out with your leader effect if you need to. By, it's like, let's just say, let's say you're on a 3 Dawn turn, okay? Tap 3, you may rest 3 of your Dawn, add a Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it, and then play up to 1 Odyssey type character card with the cost of 5 or less from your hand. So that is an option. I probably would not do that unless I could get the draw 2, trash 2. So who knows if there's a good 1-drop we haven't seen yet. But if there is, that would be a really nice play. All right, next up we have Crocodile. This is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter, Odyssey type character with 7 Warlords and Baroque works. The effect is if your leader has the Odyssey type, this character cannot be KO'd in battle by leaders. So leaders cannot deal with this guy. You have to either KO him or remove him with effects from events or something like that. Or characters, I guess, if they have that kind of potential. But you cannot KO this character in battle with leaders. You can KO it in battle with your characters, but not with leaders. Oh, I forgot to give this one a rating. Sorry, guys. Let me give Usopp a rating real quick. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a very nice, solid card. Maybe even better than that. Now, for Crocodile, though, I'll give this one a rating of like a nice 6.5 out of 10 because this effect is nice. It does have some, resilience. But at the same time, Green will probably whoever you're playing against will just attack into this on the board with their characters instead of their leader. I don't think, and that's not a bad thing, right? That's actually still very good because, hey, if you counter out now, they can't follow up with their leader swing. So I give it like a 6.5 out of 10 because it has some resilience, but nothing really crazy is all I'm going to say. Okay, Sakazuki. Now, one thing, too, I just want to stress, guys, remember, if you're playing this in an Odyssey deck, which you'd want to do because you need the leader to be Odyssey type to get this effect, guess what? He's going to interplay rested. So they can attack right into him if they need to. Excuse me. Now, Sakazuki. 6 cost, 7,000 power, green, Odyssey, Navy type. Check out this effect, guys. It is an on-play if you have 2 or more rested characters. KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. This card is really, really good in this deck. I mean, this card's probably really good, period, as long as you can get a board state consistently. But just in general, like in this deck, in the Odyssey Lim style deck, remember, he will interplay rested as well, guys. Like when you play him, he will become rested, and then you can use his effect. So you just need 1 other rested character, and you can KO a 5 or less, basically for free. And notice this, guys. KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Unless the translation is wrong, it doesn't even have to be rested. This card is wildly good, guys. You don't have to trash a card from your hand. You just have to have 2 or more rested characters in play, when this on play goes off. And he could be one of them with Lim, right? Because he rests himself by entering play. Awesome card. I'm going to give this one like an 8.5 out of 10. Very close to a 9 out of 10. It's just, what's the one thing you can say that's bad about this card? It doesn't have a counter. Because a 6 cost 7k is still a beautiful stat line because you're right at 7, which is a magic number. He's a 6 cost, so he does still get hit by something like Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. But hey, okay, his 2 downsides is he doesn't have a counter, and he's not quite big enough to get out of the range of a Gravity Blade, Raging Tiger. Oh, well, you know what I mean? This is still an incredibly good card. I'll give this one like an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Wow, look at this Sabo, guys. This looks awesome. I haven't seen all these. I've seen a bunch of them. Like I've seen quite a few of them. Like obviously, like I said, I've already seen this one. Y'all heard me kind of hyping it up before I read the effect. But some of these, if I have seen them, I don't remember. But let's check this out, guys. This is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, Odyssey Revo Army type, Sabo. The effect is when attacking once per turn, if you have 3 or more rested characters, draw a card. Well, he'll be one of them, so you just need 2 others. I like this card quite a bit. It is a when attacking, so that's not the greatest thing in the world. And did they really have to make that once per turn? Because I feel like a card like this would be so good in Green-Blue Sanji. Okay, for those who do not know, for those who might be new to the channel, Green-Blue Sanji, Zoro and Sanji, from ST12, it gets to stand characters up that have 7,000 power or less. And if you just attach 1 Dawn to this guy, swing for 7, stand him up, swing for 7 again, you could potentially get so much value out of a card like this. But I don't think it'd be broken either. I think it'd actually be very fair. Huge fan of this card. I like this a lot. I'm already starting to think about ways I can put this in my ST12 Green-Blue Sanji deck. I do like it, but I wish that was not a once per turn. I don't feel like that needed to be once per turn. That's all I'm going to say. Some people might disagree. That's fine. But I personally do not think that should have been a once per turn. I'm still going to give this card a 7 out of 10. I would normally give any card that draws a card a 7.5 out of 10, like at a baseline, unless it's just like terribly statted or something. But this card is a when attacking. So I don't immediately get the effect or the value. And remember, guys, if we're in an Odyssey type deck with Lim and we play this card out, because remember, we can cheat this card out on turn 2, guys. Like going first or second, we'll have 3 or 4 Dawn, right? This is a 5-cost or lower Odyssey type character. So we can cheat this out immediately, and then but it comes into play rested. So our opponent can then go, okay, well, if that's the case, I don't want you to start drawing cards. I'm going to attack it for 8, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? Where it becomes kind of, you know, it is what it is. I guess it depends on the board state, because if they don't have any other characters in play, then who cares if they play this out? They're not going to get to draw a card afterwards anyway, because you have to have 3 or more rested characters. So in other words, when he attacks, he'll be rested, and then you need 2 other characters on the board rested to get this effect. Really solid, though. I'll still give this a 7 out of 10. I think this is a pretty good, pretty solid card. Okay, now we have another 5-cost 6k with a 1k counter. This is Sanji this time, Odyssey Straw Hat Crew. Now, he has an on-KO effect. You may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. Okay. I'm listening. This is pretty intriguing. That's a very, very big cost, guys. You lose a life card, okay? And you take one from the top or bottom of your life cards and then add it to your hand. And then play up to 1 Odyssey or Straw Hat Crew type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. It should have been a 5 or less. I'm sorry, guys. That should have fit the theme. And then this card would have been really, really crazy. Right, guys? Hang on, guys. My phone's like ringing in my pocket. I got to turn this off. Yeah. Scam likely. You got to love those calls, right, guys? The scam likely calls. Sorry about that. But yeah, this card, this should have been an on KO 5 or less. I'm sorry. It should have been. There's just too many ways to play around on KO anyway nowadays, like between bottom decking, trashing cards, bouncing cards, doing whatever. I still think this is a very good card. Do not misunderstand me being able to cheat out a 4-cost card. I mean, think about it like this. What if a card like this, hang on, is it leader locked? You may add 1 card. No, it's not. It's just type locked to Odyssey or Straw Hat Crew. So like imagine this guy gets KO'd, and say we're playing like a green Uda film deck or something like this, and this is just 1 spicy tech card we have in there. Okay, you KO this card. Then we cheat out a Brook. On our opponent's turn, we cheat out a Brook, and we cheat out, you know, whatever else Brook might be able to play for 3 cost. So like there's definitely some value there. I think this is a good card. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But I really wish it had been a 5 or less, because then you're really punishing them, because that's something that I feel like you need for some of these character cards, like for the on KO effect. If you really want to punish the opponent for KOing this character by putting an on KO effect on them, at least make it something they have to respect. You know what I mean? And that's better than nothing. But remember, guys, if you're playing against if you're playing this card in Lim, Lim, look at this, guys. That card will enter play rested. The card you just cheated out comes into play rested, so you lose another card from hand, and they just smash into that with whatever else they had on the board. And I'm just not a huge fan of that. I'm sorry. I think it should have at least been a 5 or less. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it there. 7 out of 10. I still think it's a good card. Do not misunderstand me. Do not misquote me. It's still a solid card. I just wish it was a 5 out of 10 for that the effect. Okay, Tony Chopper. We got a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter, Odyssey Animal Straw Hat Crew type. Okay, this is an animal type. I wonder if this has any other... Maybe this will be good in the red-green Tony Chopper deck that's coming out in OP-08 for us in the West. It's already out in the East. Might be. Let's see. Oh, no, never mind. Look at the end of turn. End of your turn, set up to one of your Odyssey-type characters with a cost of 4 or less as active. Again, why can't we build around the 5 or less theme? I don't understand how that would be so broken. I don't understand how they decided, oh, there's no way we can let that happen. Because it would be one thing if this said set up to one of your characters with a cost of 4 or less as active, like any character, then that would have been pretty crazy. However, remember, everything we play, every single card we play in this deck, in the Lim Odyssey deck, it's coming to play rested. Everything. So it's like, okay, can we at least try to get something back for this? Because I don't even know if Tony Chopper's going to survive one turn, guys. I don't think this card will even survive one turn. Well, hang on. I guess he can stand himself up. Okay, that's not too bad. So at the end of your turn, set up to one of your Odyssey-type character cards with a cost of 4 or less as active. It doesn't say other than Tony Chopper, so you will be able to stand Tony Chopper back up at the end of turn to maybe let him survive. Okay, so not the worst thing in the world. Not the worst thing in the world, but also not incredible. I just wish it was a 5 or less. That's all I'm going to say. Because then they would want to attack into the Tony Chopper, so you can't keep protecting some of your other characters. You see what I'm saying? Either way, I think it's fine. I'm going to give this card a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's awful. And I do think it has that's actually very good synergy in a deck like Lim where all of your characters are entering into play rested, and it doesn't happen until the end of your turn, so you can still go off of your effects like this Sabo, for example, swing all out however you need to, play out new characters, they come to play rested, and then attack for 6 or 7 or however much with this character, and then draw a card. And then at the end of your turn, you'll then be able to use the Tony Chopper to stand up one of your 4 or less characters. Not the Sabo we just saw, but a 4 or less. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I'm not a huge fan of it. I wish it at least had blocker or something to add on to it. Then I could have gave it something closer to like a 6.5 or a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10 at that point. But as is, I'll go 6 out of 10. Okay, we've got Trafalgar Law. It looks like Trafalgar Law and Rosinante. I'm surprised it's not like a combo card because we see both of them in the picture. But anyway, it's a 3-cost, another 3-cost 4K with a 1K counter, Odyssey Supernova Odyssey Supernova Heart Pirates type. The effect is on play. You may return one of your characters to the owner's hand and then play up to one Odyssey-type character card with a cost of 3 or less other than Trafalgar Law from your hand. Okay, return one of your characters to the owner's hand. So yeah, you can return any character. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is, what type it is, or anything. However, then you're going to be able to play up to one Odyssey-type character card with a cost of 3 or less other than Trafalgar Law from your hand. Okay. All right, so we've already seen one target. Let me see if we've seen any others so far. It has to be a 3 or less, it said. So we have not seen any other targets other than Chopper so far. We'll have to keep our eyes open on other things that can be played, because it says Odyssey-type characters only. It's not any other type. I think this is very specific, and it does force you down a certain deck-building direction if you actually want this to work. So I'm actually... Okay, I'm going to give this like a... I'm just going to give it like a 5.5 out of 10. This is probably barely better currently. You know, we'll have to see what kind of support it gets. But this is probably just barely better than a vanilla card. That would be a 3-cost 5K with a 1K counter. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. I know there's going to be some tricks. Let's see what other cards that we can see in here that might be able to get some value from this. But as is, I'm not a huge fan of this style card. At least not in the Odyssey deck that we're trying to do, because they're all going into play rested, right? Just rested, whatever you do. Okay, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10 for now. That might change as we see more spoilers, so bear with me. Okay, let me sit up for this here. Okay, we got a Doflamingo here, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter blocker. Big fan of that. However, let's see what happens. All right, end of your turn. If you have 2 or more rested characters, set this character as active. Okay, I thought so. I was going to say, you know, it really doesn't help playing out a blocker rested. But okay, if you have 2 or more other rested characters, set this character as active. Actually, it doesn't say or more other rested. So if you have 2 or more rested characters, so this one is included in that count, right? If you have 2 or more rested characters, so this, you know, this character and another one, set this character as active. This card is fine. This card is very solid. And this goes back to the idea that we were just looking at with Chopper. I like this this ability to stand characters at the end of turn. I can't say it enough. I wish that was a 5 or less for the theme. Even if they had to make him a 3-cost, 3,000 power character to somehow justify, you know, like, oh, but that's so powerful. Okay, fine. Then make it powerful. You know what I mean? But hey, Tony Chopper and Doflamingo here, they do at least help out with what we're doing with the leader. I'm going to give this card like a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a great blocker. It's well statted. You can cheat it out for 3. It might be closer to an 8 out of 10 since it's really like a 3-cost 6K that does this. You know what I mean? Really good stuff. I think this one's really solid. Okay, we got another Rosinante here. Or actually, no, excuse me. The other one was not Rosinante. Remember, he was only in the picture with Trafalgar Law. So we got a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter blocker, another blocker. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, set this character as active. Okay, on your opponent's attack, once per turn, set this character as active. Okay, so it's like a delayed blocker effect. But think of it like this. If they attack into this character, right? If they attack into this character, and it's their attack, you can stand the guy up, but he's still been chosen as the target of that attack. I'll try to look at the rules after this if I remember, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. They've already declared the attack. His status doesn't matter anymore, right? His orientation, whether he's rested or active, it no longer matters. They declared an attack into a legal target, when it was a legal target, so that attack's still going to go through whether he's active or rested. So it doesn't really defend itself in that way. I'm sad it's not a end of turn effect just like Chopper was, but at the same time maybe that would have been too redundant. But it's still a blocker, so if they attack into it, it worked as a blocker anyway. And if they don't attack into it, well, now it's going to be a blocker next time. You know what I mean? So I think it's an okay card. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's just a decent card. Tell me if I'm missing something with any of these cards, guys. As usual, if I missed something, help me out in the comment section below. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please help me out down there. Okay, guys? Please tell me what's going on. Okay, but I'm just going to give this card like a 6 out of 10. It's still a blocker. It's a 3-cost 4K. And if you need to, you can stand this up with Chopper if you absolutely need a blocker for the turn. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Next up, we got Nico Robin. We got a 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter, Odyssey Straw Hat type. On play, if you have 2 or more... Hang on one second. This is Don Quixote Pirate searchable, so if that is relevant... Hang on, let me think about something real quick. On your opponent's attack. So this is not leader locked at all to Odyssey, even though it is an Odyssey Navy Don Quixote Pirates type. So honestly, like, this is not too bad. I'm going to give it a slightly higher rating, because think about it. You could attach just 1 Dawn to it or more. Attack for the turn. So you swing and now pass the turn. And then on your opponent's attack, you can stand this guy up. So if they chose not to attack into him, now you can stand him up, and then you can choose the block from there. So I'm going to give this card, I'm actually going to give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it a little bit better score. I still don't think it's like insane or anything, but this is actually a very, very strong high utility blocker. Big fan. Okay, now for Nico Robin. Sorry about that, guys. Nico Robin is a 4-cost 5K green Odyssey Straw Hat type character with an on-play. If you have 2 or more rested characters, none of your Odyssey or Straw Hat type characters can be KO'd by effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. Wow. So we've got like a miniature Sabo effect here. It doesn't have the draw 2 trash 2, but hey, all your characters cannot be KO'd by effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. All right, we'll take that. They can still be KO'd in battle, but not by effects. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good card. I think this one's pretty solid. It's a 4-cost 5K, so you can play it right out on turn 2. You know, like we still have not seen a 1 or a 2 drop yet. I'm not saying they don't exist. We just haven't seen them yet. That will really determine what all we can do with some of these early plays. But hey, this is still a very solid card, and if you can get the on-play effect off, you know, you can really protect your board in a lot of ways. Pretty good stuff. I'm going to give this like a 6 out of 10. Actually, it is protection. I'm going to give this a... Because even if it's not protection, it's still a 4-cost 5K, but it's coming to play rested. Yeah, if you have 2 or more rested characters, none of your Odyssey or Straw Hat type characters can be KO'd. I wonder if this card is actually better in some type of Straw Hat deck for green and some other color, maybe red and green. Let's just think outside the box for a minute. Like, I don't even think this card will be the best in a deck with Odyssey. I think this might be better in a red-green Straw Hat style deck, or maybe like a Supernova Straw Hat style hybrid deck. Because then, on play, you know, swing out with your whole board, right? And then you play this card down at the end of turn, and oh, hey, by the way, none of my characters can be KO'd now, right? You know, of any of the Straw Hat or Odyssey types. So that's not too bad, actually. I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10 on this. I actually changed my mind after thinking about it. I do try to think outside the box, guys. But at the same time, I try to keep the effect limited to like in a vacuum, so it is just a universal score. Much better card than I was originally thinking. I think this could be a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, Perona. We got a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 2K counter, Muggy Kingdom, Thriller Bark Pirates type. Check this one out. I do know what this one does, guys. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. reveal up to one Dracula Mihawk or Thriller Bark Pirates type card, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and trash one card from your hand. So you are cycling a card with this. You're doing a top 5 search and cycling a card, right? And then, how do I say this? This card, number 1, is a 2K counter. So I always start off a 2K counter at a 7 out of 10 or 7.5 out of 10, period, because you can just use it in any deck that has that color. And it will still have some value being a 2K counter. However, this has much more value than a 2K counter. This is a 2K counter. It's a 1-cost 2K body, which is whatever. That part's fine. But this on-play effect. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to one Mihawk or Thriller Bark Pirates type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and trash one card from your hand. So you're filling up your trash. You're doing a top 5 search, cycling through like that. It's a 2K counter the entire game, no matter what. I think this card here is like a 9 out of 10. I think this card is an absolute 9 out of 10. It fixes your hand. It does so much. This is a really incredible card, guys. I have seen some gameplay. If I remember to do it, or if someone reminds me in the comment section below, I'll try to find this gameplay of this new Perona card in action. It turns on a whole entire another style for green-black, what's her name, Perona. Green-black Perona, the Thriller Bark leader, where they can then actually go a direction that's like using the stage Thriller Bark, where they can start bringing back these 1- and 2-cost characters from their trash, flooding the board in that way. It's a really interesting deck. And it's all made possible because of this one card. So I'm going to give this card a 9 out of 10. I think it's a very good card. Okay, next up, this is the alt art. Very cool, looks really good. Next up, we have a 5-cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, Odyssey Whitebeard Pirates type, Port Gosti Ace. On play, if you have 2 or more rested characters, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Excellent, excellent, excellent 2K counters. These 2 2K counters we just saw, the one for Perona here and the one for Port Gosti Ace. Guys, they're real good. Guys, they're real good. I have to say, this one's incredible. 5 cost, 5K, 2K counter. I love that stat line. I have mentioned this many, many other times on the channel. If you're new to the channel, just know that the 5 cost, 5,000 power stat line with a 2K counter on it is like one of my favorite stat lines in the game, because it is just, it's, how do I say this? It's like it's never a dead card, right? In your hand, it's a 2K counter. It's a 5 cost, 5K on the board, so it's not, you can't play it. Yes, you can't play it in the super early game, but you can play it as early as turn 3. Worst case scenario, you play it as early as turn 3, and if it's in your hand that early, it's a 2K counter. And then at the end of the game, when it has an on-play effect that's decent, like this one, it's also not dead in the late game either. It's still a 5K body. This one has an on-play to rest a 5 or less. Like, just absolutely incredible, guys. I'm a huge fan of this card. I really do like it. I'm going to give this card an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even closer to a 9 out of 10, like what we just gave Perona. Yeah, probably a 9 out of 10. There might be a little bit of bias there, guys, but I absolutely love the cards like this. Okay, we got Luffy here. We got a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter, Odyssey Supernova Straw Hat type character here. Really cool looking pictures, by the way, guys. Notice the theme. It's like these little cubes that are floating around for these Odyssey cards. Look at this. There's like these little cubes, like miniature poneglyphs or something. I don't know what's going on. I've not played the game. Apparently, Odyssey is some type of game for One Piece. I have not played it. See, here's one too for Sanji. But hey, this is really cool looking. Okay, let's keep going. Luffy. So his on play is if you have 2 or more rested characters, rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or characters with a cost of 6 or less. I do like when you can manipulate your opponent's Dawn, and like that is, number one, it helps into the blue Nami matches. It helps into any kind of match against red where they have rad beams or guard points or whatever. Purple usually sits on some events as well. So like, I think that's good against like half the meta. You know what I mean? Maybe not literally half, because even like against Jewelry Bonnie, like green Jewelry Bonnie is going to leave 1 Dawn active at the end of every single turn, right? So okay, on play, rest that. If you have 2 or more rested characters, of course, you can do that. Or rest down a 6 or less. I think this card's awesome. I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a really, really good card. 5 cost, 6K, 1K counter. You can cheat this out on turn 2 if you need to with this deck and ramp a Dawn while you're at it. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, to be honest, guys. Now, early on, you probably won't be able to use the on-play effect, if you don't have another. Because, again, guys, we still have not seen a single character that costs 2 or less for the Odyssey type. I'm still waiting to see that. We'll have to see what happens. But I think this card's really good, guys. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, we got Lim here. 3 cost, 5,000 power character, no counter, Odyssey type. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Excuse me. Reveal up to 1 Odyssey type card other than Lim and add it to your hand. So top 5 search for Odyssey type cards other than Lim, and you'll add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. End of your turn, if you have 3 or more rested characters, set this character as active. Guys, that is nice. That is nice. It's a 3 cost 5k. We'll take it. Yeah, it's very well statted. It's statted like a vanilla minus the 1k counter, and it has a top 5 search, and it has a way to protect itself at the end of turn with evasion, like end of your turn standing effects. Yeah, I'm going to give this card an easy 8.5 out of 10. It's just a great card. It's just a very well statted card that does a lot. It's a very high value card. Okay, let's keep going. Wow, look at this alt art, guys. This is nice. Now, I will say the face does not look the same. Because of how they pointed, they arched the eyebrows in this one. They made the eyebrow arch like very pointy. Not the eyebrow, the eyelid. The eyelid is like very pointed in this one, whereas this one's a much more smoother and rounded. This doesn't quite look like the same character, but it's still a very good piece. I really like it quite a bit, and I love the background. The background is incredible. I also like this style of outlining the figure like they did. They outlined the main figure there. Looks really nice with that lime green. Really makes it pop. Oh yeah, this is just the alt art. Next up we have Lucci. This is just a 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter, vanilla character for with Odyssey type and CP9 type. Not bad. It's just a 5 out of 10. It's just a vanilla. Okay, now we got some events, guys. Gum Gum Quattro Jet Cross Shock Bazooka. Okay. This is an Odyssey Supernova Straw Hat Crew type event. It is a 1 cost event. It is a counter effect. If your leader has the Odyssey type, so it is locked to Odyssey type, and you have 2 or more rested characters, up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. That is an entire turn effect, guys. And the trigger can KO up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. Yeah, this is pretty good. It's a 1 cost plus 2,000 power for the turn if you're Odyssey type leader and you have 2 or more rested characters. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10, guys. This is like a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10, and the trigger's not bad either. This is solid. Really big fan of this one. Really big fan. Good stuff. Okay, Thunder Lance, Flip Caliber, Phoenix Shot. Some of these names, guys, are outrageous. They're like, they're funny, they're good, but it's like, what kind of name is this, right? Thunder Lance, Flip Caliber, Phoenix Shot. It's like there was one in ST14 that just had a crazy long name. But yeah, this one also Odyssey Supernova Straw Hat Crew type, right? This one was too. Yep. Now this is a 3 cost event. Main, if you have 2 or more rested characters, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Okay. Main, if you have 2 or more rested characters, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So it's literally the trigger of this one, but you have to have 2 or more rested characters. And then the triggers rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. I don't think that's that great for a 3 cost popping a 4 or less, but it is in green, so I guess it is kind of like rare to find KO like that in green on an event. The trigger rests a 4 or less. I'll get this like a 5.5 out of 10. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's that good either. It's a 5.5 out of 10. Okay, you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below, by the way. All right, we got another crazy name here. We got Soul Frankie Swing Arm Boxing Solid. What just happened? Okay, all right, it's a 1 cost Odyssey Straw Hat type event. The effect is counter up to 1 of your leaders or characters leader cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then if your leader has the Odyssey type and you have 2 or more rested characters, set up to 2 of your characters as active. Okay, now we're talking. The trigger rests up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Okay, this is really strong, guys. Like, this effect is very, very powerful. Because you're going to be able to go... So say they swing 6 into 1 of your 5,000 power characters, or even just 6 into a 6,000 power character. Who cares? Okay, effect, pay 1, plus 2,000 that character, and then stand 2 characters up. Like, it might be that character and another, and now they're protected for next turn. Next turn, you can attack with them, and then play out a character for the turn to get any relevant on-play effects. Very solid, very good utility. I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. You do still have to have 1 Dawn active at the end of the turn. And that brings me all the way back to what I was saying at the beginning, where I really wish the leader effect could use... I really wish the leader could use their effect to bring an active Dawn into play as opposed to a rested one for something like this. Okay, and then we're back to the beginning. Okay, so just in summary, before we move on... No 1 or 2 cost characters, and I'm slightly annoyed by that because here's the thing. Now, I'm not saying you can obviously add 1 or 2 cost characters from other sets, of course, and add it to the deck. In fact, if you guys have any good ideas for any good 1 cost or 2 cost characters to add, please put them in the comment section below. Like, the immediate thing that comes to my mind for a 2 cost character would be like Rosinante, or maybe even Sugar, or something like that. 1 cost character would depend. If you're trying to go Supernova, maybe you could go about it that way. Maybe go like Bonnie, in other words. Or if you're trying to go Don Quixote Pirates, you could add the Baby 5. But other than that, hear me out. My problem is this. So let's just say we want to go turn 2 into a very powerful effect, maybe into something like Sabo here. Actually, not Sabo. Where's an on-play effect? That's on KO. Where did the Luffy? Here it is. Okay, if you have 2 or more rested characters, rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or characters with a cost of 6 or less. Not the best example, but hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. If you went first, you played out a 1 Dawn character, right? Pass. Or you didn't. See, and that's the problem. If you don't have a 1 Dawn character in the deck, then, all right, on turn 2, you're going to want to keep your tempo by playing out a 5 cost 6k because it's just common sense. It just makes sense to do that, and you're ramping Dawn in the process. But if you can't cash in on the effect early on, it does kind of lose a little bit of its, I don't know, power, in my opinion. I don't know how to say that. Maybe we'll have to add a 1 or 2 cost vanilla character to the deck to get the full value from it. Like, here we go. Here's one as well. Like, maybe they just played out a... Well, I don't know. Let me say it like this. As the game goes on, where you have, like, multiple 5-cost characters down like this, then it does get more and more powerful. But, like, early on, I try to get as much value from these cards as I can, especially something like this. I want to be able to play this out on turn 2 with my leader effect. Just, you know, turn 1, play out a 1 or 2 cost character, like I said. Turn 2, use my leader effect to ramp a Dawn, cheat out Usopp, and I want to draw 2 Trash 2. Excuse me, but if I don't have any 1 or 2 cost characters in the deck, I'm not going to be able to get the full value from these cards. Okay? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. It's not like a bad thing. It's just something that I think we should definitely look at when we go to build a deck like this. Because, guys, I will be building a Limb deck. I build every deck, guys. There's no deck that escapes my grasp. I try to build every one of them, which doesn't mean they're all like the best decks ever. But I at least like to give some ideas there for people who really want to play a certain leader. Okay? All right, that's it for that, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over to the sim. We got 1 game on the sim. I want you guys to tell me what y'all thought about Lim and these green cards. Some pretty good stuff, guys. And I will say, let's at least end off on this really awesome special art card coming out. This is from OP-04, but it will be released as a special art. This 8 costs 8,000 power Rosinante as a special art card in OP-09. And it looks incredible. Really, really nice card. Look at the hearts in the background, guys. Just awesome. Okay, but guys, again, tell me what y'all think, you know, about these green cards coming out in OP-09. How excited are you to try Lim? What kind of purple cards are you going to try to add to Lim? Because one more thing I do want to say before we move on is after we ramp to 10 Dawn, what do? I think we need to have more ways to reduce Dawn. I think we need to have, like, Queen's always a good target, but I was thinking even maybe something like 9-cost Kaido, or maybe even the new 9-cost Lin. Just something that's going to, like, throw our Dawn way far back so we can get more and more value from Lim and from our Odyssey-type characters. Again, you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Now, let's move on. We got 1 game on the sim. Okay, let me make sure the volume is off, and let me make sure the speed is on 2x. Yep, we're good to go. And now let me move my face over, and let's do this, guys. This should be fun. We got a game of Blurple Reiju Straw Hat version versus Doflamingo. Okay. This is a leader that I've been having so much fun with, guys. Blurple Reiju. While we're just waiting for the turn 1 stuff to go on, hear me out. I love when there are no restrictions on a leader. Like, Reiju's only, you know, restrictions, you have to have Dawn, you know, reduction in your deck. Like, ways to go backwards in Dawn, so that way you can use her effect to draw a card. And that is a very open effect when it comes to, you know, a leader like this. So I do counter out aggressively there, by the way, guys, because I only have 2 2K counters in hand, and I need to be very aggressive these next 2 turns. I need to slam down character after character after character. So I did counter out very aggressively there, and I plan on doing it again if I have to here to keep my life as high as possible against Doflamingo. Because if they start pushing your life down low early on, that's when you get in trouble, guys. That's where you start getting in trouble. All right, so they're going to swing for 7. They set that to a Jinbei with the Perona. They cheat out a Mihawk. They're going to swing for 5. I'm going to give them a 2K counter, and now it's my turn. I have 6 Dawn to work with here. They only have 3 cards left. I'm not going to attack into their life. Why would I? Why would I give them cards here? I'm going to swing 6 and a 5. Do you want to give me a 2K counter? Okay, I'm going to swing 6 more and a 5. Okay, now I'm going to cheat out, or excuse me, now I'm going to play out my Magellan, which made both of us go back a Dawn. I have a 6K body on the board, and I drew a card for my turn with the leader's effect. Magellan is a stud in this deck, guys. Magellan is an absolute all-star in Reiju. They're going to swing 8 into 6 here. I really want to save that character, but I can't do it. I mean, I could get rid of my 2K, 1K, but it just wouldn't be smart, guys. Now, watch this, though. I had to practice some restraint there because I cannot take this hit this early on. I am probably going to lose the game if I do. So I give him a 2K, 1K counter there to get out of that. Some people might have thought, like, no, just go down to 2 life, you'll be fine. Guys, this turn, I plan on dropping my 7-cost character. So I'm going to swing 5 into here. They're probably just going to counter out of it with a 1K. Yep, and I'm going to swing 6 into it. I'm not going for the Weevil. I need to make sure I get this character off the board. I play out Luffy Taro, which plays out Zoro Juro, or whichever one that is. There's so many Zoros now. And then I'm going to go ahead and get a 2K counter from that, the Usopp. Okay. Now, right here, they swing for 5, so I know they're about to play out the 10-cost Kaido. No problem. Now we are... Actually, excuse me, they're not on 10 Dawn. What am I talking about? So it's like, now's my time to catch back up. That was just a 1K and a 2K that I had to give him. That's nothing. We are completely fine now. And our board is about to get massive, guys. Our board is about to be absolutely massive. Swing 8 into 6. He doesn't want to save this. No, that was the right play. Never save that there. You're not going to be able to. I'll take every card from your hand and every card from the board if you try to. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Right now, I think I swing for 6-7-7, I believe is what I go here, or 6-6-7. Yep, I probably should have swung with the character first there, but it's whatever. Or I could have gone 6-6-7 with the characters first and gone 2 on the leader. It doesn't matter. Okay, just talking about proper sequencing there. So right there, I wish I had saved my my gravity, not gravity blade, my red rock to get rid of this card. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I have a massive board state now, and I'm just going to make sure I try to do this in the right way where I can get as much value as I can. Okay, swing for 6, swing for 7, swing for 7. You're at 1 life. And I have all of these characters on the board. What do you do in this situation? I go ahead and get a blocker. I have 2 blockers if I need them next turn. 2K counter, 2 1Ks, 2 life. I'm fine for now. And he's going to have to start going for this board, guys. He's going to have to start going for the board here. Because here's the thing. Next turn, let me pause real quick. Look at his board right now. Yeah, this is my last turn. I'm going all in next turn. There's no way for me to survive next turn. If I don't win next turn, I probably lose the game, right? So watch what happens here. I know I'm going to lose 1 character to the Kaido, so what I have to do here is play out or I have to save 1 of my characters. 2K, 1K, it is what it is. Swing 12 into 8, and here we go. Now it's time to start swinging for 7s and 9s. I really don't have any other options. So I'm going to swing for 7 here with the smaller characters first, just to make sure they don't get hit with any kind of random removal. 1K takes it. I don't understand what that was all about. That was a play mistake. Swing for 7, and then it's going to be swing. Then it was going to be swing for 9, I believe, because those attacks had. Let me see what it would have been. I have an 8K and a 5K on the board, and I still have 7 Dawn. So 8 plus 5 is what? 8 plus 5 is 13 plus 10. So it would have been, or plus 7, excuse me, it would have been 20. So I had 20,000 power to work with. I would have swung for 10, swung for 10. That was what I was going to have to do there. And notice what's in their hand. They can't get out of it. Now, one thing I will say is if they somehow were able to get out of it, I was just going to have to play down a blocker and hope for the best. And by the way, one thing I would have... Okay, one thing I definitely should have done at the end there was probably just play out the blocker anyway. You know, go up a blocker, go for the board a little bit. I could have taken out the Weevil there, put him down to 4 attacks, and then I could have, you know, drawn a card from that. However, look what they had in their hand. If I didn't hit that Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, I just lose the game anyway. So I think going more aggressive there was probably the right call to begin with. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that was it for that game. Let me show you guys the list I was running. Nothing's changed since the last time I showed this list off. This is just a fun deck to play, guys. I'm not going to lie. Here it is. Let me go ahead and move my face real quick. There we go. I'm running 4 Magellans, 2 of the Usohashi, 4 Zoro Juro, 4 Franosuke, 4 Reiju, 4 Sanji, 2 of the Zoro. This is the Banished Zoro. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. It's just Banish. 4 of the Queen, 4 of Queen, 4 of Law, 4 Sanji, 4 of the 4-cost Zoro, 4 Luffy, 2 Red Rocks, and 4 Gum Gum Jet Gatling. There's a lot of ways for me to go backwards and Dawn in this deck between, like, you know, both of my blockers. So there's 8 cards right here, 12 if you count the Magellan. So 12 right here to go back and Dawn, and then I do have 4 more from the Luffy here. So I think in the end, I do need to start going up a little more ways to go backwards and Dawn. But I haven't put enough time into this deck yet. This is just a rough draft. If you guys have any good ideas, by all means, post them down in the comment section below if you're interested. Because I will say this, guys, this list is very, very strong. And let me show you the other Reiju list I was working on. Maybe we can get some ideas from that. Someone suggested Chopper. In fact, I think it was a good friend of the channel, Cal Easy, if I'm saying that right, or Calez, however he says it, Calez. It might be Cal Easy. I'm not sure. But anyway, you'll see him at the end on the what are they called? The patron page. Really good friend of the channel. But here's what I was thinking. Where did I put Reiju? Give me 1 second to find it, guys. Okay, Reiju. Oh, I called it not Reiju. That's right, not Reiju. Here it is. So this is the other version I was running. That was a little more Animal Kingdom Pirates version. It just has a good way to curve. Because the idea is this. Okay, so when we're on 4 Dawn, right? 4 Dawn, let's just pretend Magical Christmas Land, we get the perfect pull, right? On a 4 Dawn turn, we play out ulti, cheating out page 1. Where's he at? Page 1, okay? Next turn will only be to 5 Dawn, because we went backwards, right? No problem. 5 Dawn, we play out Magellan, and now, you know, they lose a Dawn, and we draw a card. And we drew a card from the ulti as well with the leader, right? Next turn, we'll only be on 6 Dawn. No problem. We go straight to King. And then next turn, we'll be on 7 Dawn. Like, we're not going up 2 Dawn at a time in this deck. We're going up only 1 Dawn at a time because of the Dawn -1 effects we're running. And then for our 7 Dawn turn, we have access to something like Zephyr or potentially something like Eustace Kid. And I think this is the way to build this kind of deck. So if we are trying like the Straw Hat version of that, let me just type in Straw and then bring up the purple cards. What I'd want to try to build that around... In fact, hang on 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. Oof, man, that's going to be so cool when we get a hold of this card. OP-09, spoiler warning, we don't have purple until 2 days from now, right? Tomorrow we're going to do blue, then purple, then black, then yellow. But yeah, this card, pause and read it if you want a quick spoiler. Really nice. Okay, sorry. Anyway, this card right here, guys, so good. Return one or more of your Dawn cards from your from play to your Dawn deck. This character gains rush, and for this turn, then rest up to one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters. Okay, I'm struggling. I'm sorry, guys. That'll be really nice for a 7 cost play. But the card I was actually looking at was Luffy. Like, this is another 7 cost card, and it's really good in that way. Let me see this one real quick. Dawn -1, you may trash one character card with a cost of 5 from your hand. This character gains rush during this turn. Guys, that could be really interesting. In a deck like this for our 6 cost play, think about all the 5 cost cards we'll probably have in here. Like, we'll probably have the Magellan and the Queen, and maybe it's some other 5 cost card. You know, I don't know. We'll have to see. But either way, even if we go like the 2K counter X-Drake or something, there's something there. That could be something very interesting. But anyway, it's something we got to work on, guys. I don't want to do like a full deck tech on this right now. But hey, speaking of another card, hey, here's a nice 4 cost card to play in Reiju, right? Now, this is a Dawn -2, so that is very brutal. But hey, Dawn -2, discard 1 card from your hand, draw 3 cards with Reiju, right? just nasty, guys. Just absolutely gross. Yeah, all right, that's it for now, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys. Let me go back to the list real quick before we head off. What I called it Reiju Straw Hats or something. Yeah, Reiju Hats 85, because it's from the 8.5 starter deck. Something to look forward to, something for us to mess with later. Because, I mean, think about this card in there, guys. Wait, on play, you may return 1 or more Dawn cards from play to your Dawn deck. Draw 1 card, then this character gains Rush. So this is a 9 cost, return a Dawn, draw 2 with Rush in a deck like this. See, seems good, guys. I'm just saying, I feel like there's something here. I'm such a huge fan of this leader and leaders like this that are so generic. You can just build them in whatever ways you want. Okay, now I'm done. Again, guys, big shout out to everybody who supports this channel. Thank you guys so much. If you're just watching my channel, liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, you're helping me out so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. For everybody who supported me by buying the playmats, big shout out to you guys. Hope y'all are enjoying those playmats. Those are really awesome. And then for the patrons here, like I said, there's the guy at the bottom of tier 2 I was talking about. I believe he was the one who was saying, like, yeah, try out Chopper. That was a good idea. I'm pretty sure it was him. It could have been someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was him. And a few others might have said it as well. But yeah, big shout out to all the BV Pirates patron page people. Thank you guys so much for helping me in the ways you do. It's just been awesome. You guys are great. All right, I'm done rambling. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, guys, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comment section below. What do you think about these green cards coming out, guys? We got blue coming out tomorrow. Yeah, that's it. I'm done. Till next time, peace.